Good, good morning, dear students. I hope you all are well. Okay, so we had completed till a part of the story, The Enemy. It's a big story, so we'll continue from the rest part. I have already completed one chapter, My Mother at 66, with the CBSE students through my Zoom classes for the previous 2 days. Today we will again continue with this story, The Enemy. Please follow it as I read on. Okay. So we had continued till when that Sadao and Hannah picks up a man who had come ashore, who was washed ashore in front of their house near the sea beach where their house were located. And this man, they had recognized him as an American soldier because he was wearing a cap, though it was fully drenched in water, in sea water, but they can figure out from the US Navy written on the top of the cap, and they understood that he is an American. And now both of them, the husband and wife, Dr. Sadaoki and Hannah, were put in a dilemma that whether they would need whether they would be able to help this man, whether they do need to help this man, or they want to just get away with him and throw him off to the sea, where they thought that it would be best for them because as Sadao said, that if they have to hand him over to the Japanese police, the Japanese police is definitely going to kill him one day or another. And if they are going to treat this man, then the Japanese government is going to go against Sadao Hoki and his family for sheltering and harboring an enemy. Okay, so we will start from here. He has escaped, Hannah cried softly, and that is why he is wounded. In the back, Sadao agreed. They hesitated, looking at each other. Then Hannah said with a resolution, "Come, are we able to put him back into the sea?" "If I'm able, are you?" Sadao asked. Now Hannah realized that this man who had was washed ashore in front of their house on the sea beach, had escaped from the prison of Japan, and that is why he is wounded. They understood that he was being fired from the backside, and he had got a gunshot on his back. Okay, and then Hannah said that let's go and just throw him off back to the sea. And she asked her husband that are you able to put him back to the sea? Then Sadao asked her in return that if I am able, are you? No, Hannah said, but if you can do it alone. Sadao hesitated again. The strange thing is, he said, that if the man were whole, I could turn him over to the police without difficulty. I care nothing for him. He is my enemy. All Americans are my enemy, and he is only a common fellow. You see how foolish his face is, but since he is wounded. Now, as I already said you, that Sadao was a doctor. Okay, he was one of the renowned surgeon. He was one of the renowned medical practitioner in Japan at that time during when the war was going on. And he said that definitely I would have not hesitated once before throwing this man off to the sea if he had been in his whole body. That means if he had not been wounded, and but because he explained himself that that this man who had come in front of them was been washed ashore is an American, and all Americans are his enemy, and this man is a poor common fellow only. But since he is wounded, Dr. Sadahoki did not want to or hesitated to throw him back to the sea. Here his feature, here his characteristics, here his nature of being a doctor, his ethics of being a doctor, his ethics of being a surgeon, his ethics of being a medical practitioner seeps in, and he is reluctant to throw this man off to the sea because this man is wounded. You also cannot throw him back to the sea, Hannah said. Then there is only one thing to do. We must carry him into the house. But the servants? Sadao inquired. So Hannah said that if you cannot throw him back to the house, there is only one thing to do. We need to throw him, we need to carry him back into the house. But what about the servants? We must simply tell them that we intend to give him we must simply tell them that we intend to give him to the police, as we indeed must, Sadao. We must think of the children and your position. It would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. Now, Sadao said that, okay, we will take this man into the house, but we are not the only one in the house. Servants are there. What about them? What should we answer them? They will definitely ask us, what is this man, where is he is from, who is this man, where he is from, how come they are harboring an American soldier in their house being Japanese people. Okay, so they will be put through lot of questions, and maybe this servants would rebel, and god knows if they actually lend this information to someone with the higher officials, then Sadao and his family would be endangered. Hannah simply replied that they should tell the servants that they intend to give them back to the police, and she also says to her husband that yes, we must do it, Sadao. We must think of the children and your position, because if we harbor this man in our home, if we give him shelter, if we treat him as he is a prisoner of war, we will be actually doing something against the nation, and this would cause us trouble. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. Thus, agreed together, they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time, until it is only feathers and skeleton. So his arms hanging, they carried him up the steps and into the side of the house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. So, saying all these things, the husband and wife, they made up their mind to actually carry the man off into their house. So, what Sadao did, he pulled him up into his arms, and he could understand that this man had been starved for a very long time. Definitely, he was kept as a prisoner of war. He had been tortured. He had been not offered food over there. He seems like malnutritioned, and his body is being compared like some sort of a fowl that had been starved for very long with only his feathers and skeleton. Fowl is a kind of a bird, it's a poultry bird. Okay, so his arms were hanging as Sadao carried in inside, and they led to different doors and passage, and came into an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death, it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man, who had never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. Okay, so the room that they came in was actually Sadao's father, and he had been using it since before his death. Okay, and after his death, this room had been locked and it had been not been used for anyone in the family. So Sadao Hoki brings this man into the empty bedroom which had been used by his father. Okay, and this man has every spot of Japanese throughout the room scattered. Okay, it screams the word Japan throughout the room, because this Sadao Hoki's father, he was such a strict person. He was so much patriotic in nature. He was such traditional in nature that he would never allow even in his home to sit on a chair or sleep on a foreign bed. Okay, now if you go through Google and search, you can see these Japanese kinds of beds and furnitures. You will see they are they're much more near to the earth. Okay, they're not very high rise. They are much shorter in height, and you can see they're made with a different kind of wood, and they follow a different pattern. So this kind of furnitures were all scattered around that room where the man was brought in. Hannah went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk, and the lining was pure white silk. He's so dirty, she murmured in distress. So Hannah went in and took out a silk quilt from a cupboard. Okay, this quilt also belonged to Sadao's father, and it had intricate designs of silk flower laid on it. So before putting it on the man, Hannah hesitated and said, "This man looks extremely dirty. We should wash him." Yes, yes, he had better be washed, Sadao agreed. If you will fetch but hot water, I will wash him. I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. We shall have to tell the servant he is here. I will tell Yumi now. She can leave the children for a few moments and she can wash him. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I will tell the others. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart too was yet alive. He will dismiss? He will die unless he is operated on, Sadao said, considering. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Hannah cried out in fear, "Don't try to save him. What if he should live?" Okay, so Sadahogi said, "Yeah, definitely we should wash this man because he was all covered in grime and dirt. He had been washed ashore and he was covered in sand and dirt. And before they start any form of medication, before they start tendering him, he should be washed properly." Hannah said that Sadao didn't need to take the pain of washing this man. She would call one of the servants named Yumi. She was being hired for looking, she was being employed for looking after the children, and Hannah said that she will call Yumi, and Yumi can come in and wash this man. Okay, Sada was going to leave, then suddenly he stopped and looked at the man, and then he stooped and filled his purse. It was very faint. He was, and his chest was extremely cold. That means his heart was not pumping enough blood. The heart was not pumping enough blood, and this man could die any moment. Okay, Sadao said that he must be operated. We must uh, he must undergo surgery unless unless this man goes undergoes surgery, he will die. And Hannah cried out in fear, "Don't try to save him. What if he should live?" "What if he should die?" Sadao replied. He stood gazing down on the motionless man. "This man must have extraordinary vitality, or you'd have been dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not yet 25. Then Sadao said, "Okay, if we don't, I don't operate him, if I don't do surgery on this man, then what if he should die?" And then he stood there gazing on the motionless man and said, "This man have extreme form of immunity, from extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. Considered him being kept as prisoner by the Japanese army, and then he was shot at his back while he tried to escape. Then he was washed ashore. The sea had been rumbling through, tumbling and rumbling his body throughout, and then he was washed ashore, and then he came here. He had been bleeding profusely. If this man had not been gifted with extraordinary vitality, this man could have died any moment." "You mean died from the operation?" Hannah asked. "Yes," Sadao said. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadao turned away. "At any rate, something must be done with him," he said, "and first he must be washed." He went quickly out of the room, and Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. Okay, he was the first she had since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there, where he was her enemy, a menace, living or dead. So Hannah asked that, "Okay, you mean to say that this man can die of operation as well?" And Sadao said, "Yes, he can definitely do that." And then Hannah stopped for a moment, considered something in her head, and then and then Sadao turned and walked away. And before he walked away, he said that we must do something with this man, otherwise he will die. Okay, but first he should be washed. Then he quickly moved out of the room. Hannah also went after her because she did not wish to spend any more time with this man. There is some sort of she was being traumatized with the event that they are actually harboring an enemy in their home, and this man who was lying in front of her is an enemy. Though she had been in America, as we had earlier read in the chapter, she had been in America where she had met Dr. Sadao, but those people whom she had met in America is not someone related with this man, or they were some other people, they were their friends, and this man lying in front of them is just their enemy, and he is a living menace. Okay, he is a living menace to Hannah and her family, Hannah and her husband, whether this man is living or dead. Okay guys, so we'll stop the chapter here. We will go through it the next class. The video is becoming very longer. Okay, so okay, thank you so much and goodbye.